Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your time today. My name is Evelyn, and I am very excited to bring you through today's presentation. It is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart, the topic of digital wellness for tech professionals. I myself am a tech professional. I work for Zoom, so I really understand. The challenges that we as tech professionals face on a daily basis, being constantly connected to our devices and always on. And I really want today to bring you through, an understanding of how we can better, get a grasp of technology and integrate it in our lives. It's all about, balancing it and working with it rather than, turning away from it. And it's not going anywhere. And I really feel that we need to put the boundaries in place, understand our habits and understand our attention, and then bring into play, intentionality and balance within our lives. So with that, I am going to get into our training agenda today. So what we're going to go through today is, first of all, an introduction to digital wellness and what it is. Then we're going to get into the science of digital engagement, the attention economy and distraction, and then get into mindfulness and healthy digital boundaries, and a reflection and Q&A at the end. I've kept this presentation quite simple, but I'm hoping that it is impactful and even just inspiring. When you're thinking about, how you run your week or how you run your day, and just setting those intentions and being really aware of where your attention is, and how you are, using technology and how you can use it better. So we're going to get into our learning objectives. These are the top three things that I want to bring you through today and give you an understanding of. The first is understanding the science of digital engagement. The second is understanding attention economy and distraction. And the third is implementing mindfulness and boundaries with your technology. But before we dive in, I wanted to just bring your eyes to this beautiful color wheel, the Digital Flourishing Wheel, which was created by the Digital Wellness Institute. And really, it is a model for you to understand how technology impacts your life, and those facets of your life that it impacts. So it's all about, flourishing with technology, living with it, thriving with it, within those kind of core elements of your life. So thinking about your productivity, your environment and your setup, and your communication, relationships, your mental health, physical health, tech enabled health, and digital citizenship as well. So those are the core elements that the Digital Wellness Institute have outlined that, technology is connected with, but also the elements that you can really kind of look into in your own life and where you are, digitally connected, and how you can kind of strike more balance within your life and within these spheres. So digital wellness is, the core concept here. So digital wellness is all around, as I said, finding balance. And the digital flourishing wheel helps you to do that and helps you to find balance within this digitally connected world. There's so many resources, and I will send them on after this lecture, but there's so many resources that can help you with this, but just really simply, thinking about your technology use, and being mindful about it, thinking about, setting boundaries with technology, managing your distractions, prioritizing your well-being, above all, especially, if you're hybrid or a remote worker, and taking those breaks, being really intentional with your days and your setup, and intentionality. As I said, being intentional. It's all about being intentional within your daily practice, essentially thinking about your if you're going to be online all day, if you're going to be on your desktop, thinking about how you can, bring in different elements of mindfulness and breaks and moving your body and just being intentional with your time and your attention. um so that is digital wellness, and it kind of underpins the whole conversation today. we're going to get into the science of digital engagement. I'm going to get into the dopamine reward loop, variable rewards, and then a reflection as well. So, simply put, I'm sure you understand what dopamine is. It's, how our brain is wired to be addicted to dopamine, and social media, our apps, and the colors that technology brings into life in these social media apps. It's all designed to keep us coming back for more. So it's all designed that way. And I think we really need to understand that, how we can kind of hack that and be intentional with our usage. Our brains are designed to look for dopamine. So we're really up against it here with all of these incredible, designs that social media brings to us, and those pings and those notifications. So being mindful of that. There's so many apps that can help you with your distractions, with your notifications, going on grayscale mode. There's a lot of different elements that you can really kind of hack the system in terms of trying to lessen the dopamine reward system within your brain. So, variable rewards, this is something really interesting as well. Variable reward is essentially an unpredictable incentive that is given at a random interval to encourage persistent behavior. There was a study done in 1948 with pigeons, and it showed that they were always more likely to go back to that variable reward, the reward that wasn't persistent, um, which is how our us as humans, our brains fire that way as well. So when you're thinking about, your usage of social media, you're always going back to check whether you're getting a notification or an email comes in. So we really need to understand this, because this is really simply put, our brains are like pigeons brains, and it's really important to understand that we are wired this way, and we are always looking for that variety, and we're always chasing that dopamine as well. So knowing that, I think, really helps when you're thinking about your habits with your technology usage. So to finish off there with that in mind, I would love you to just conduct this exercise in your own time, thinking of the last time you reached for your phone without purpose. So what triggered that impulse? This is really useful. I did it for just a full day on Monday, and I jotted down every time I went to pick up my phone, and why, and almost where I got to. It's so powerful, because you really see how many times you are just by default going to your phone and looking for notifications, or not just picking it up. So when you become aware of that, I think it's much easier to then be able to break the habit and break the pattern when you are aware of it. So I would implore you to do this reflection exercise. It is quite humbling. So definitely do that in your own time. The next piece I wanted to bring you through today was the attention economy. We're going to go through the cost of distraction, we're going to go through multitasking, and then we're also going to go through a distraction audit as well. So, perfect. So, let's go through distraction and multitasking. As we've kind of gone through there's so many distractions, and as a tech professional, you've got your Slack channels, you've got your email channels, you've also got your phone and your device. So thinking about, all of those distractions that you have, and how you multitask within your role. So I wanted to call out, because I'm definitely guilty of it as well. Multitasking is a myth. Your brain doesn't actually perform multiple tasks at once, but it rapidly switches between them. So this really has an impact, 40% impact on your productivity. So you're 40% less productive when you're trying to multitask. Um, so what I wanted to bring you through here was a distraction audit around this. So listing three digital distractions and what they are. For me, it was my Zoom team chat, my emails, and then my social media, so my notifications. But it could be anything for you. So thinking about, what are the top three distractions that you have, and then identifying one boundary or strategy that you can put in place. So some examples: muting notifications, time blocks, hiding apps. There's so much you can do, and there are so many applications as well for your phone that block this as well. So I think thinking about that and being able to um implement, some boundaries around it, is really powerful, and definitely something that you should integrate in your daily routine as well, when you're thinking about your digital usage. So yes, I'm going to leave you with that distraction audit. I'll send on the slides after, and you can kind of use them as a kind of a prompt to do that as well in your own time. Um, so that was the second objective there, and then the last one that I wanted to leave you with was our third objective, which is mindfulness and boundary setting. So what I'd love to take you through is just a mindfulness check in. You can do this in your own time. I always think it's really, really powerful to focus on your breath, um, and just focus on, what you can hear, what you can sense, um, and really being just intentional, of your time, and of where your intention is, with technology. So we've kind of spoken about the distractions and the dopamine loop. I think taking yourself away from your desktop or your device is really, really powerful. Things like, getting out for a walk, moving your body. I'm sure, working in offices, you're aware of this, but I think it's really important to just be able to go and breathe for however many minutes that you can, just to really kind of reset and be intentional. What I also like to think of, and this is something that I've been trying to implement in my own daily routine, is thinking of my attention as a battery. So every time, I do a mindful activity, whether it's, breath work or go for a walk, or maybe, some movement in my routine, that I'm not just sitting at my desk or on my device, I think, that's going to add up to a full battery. But when you're thinking about those kind of where your attention is taken away, so maybe it's doom scrolling, maybe it's, over usage of technology, constantly checking your phone, that's always going to be depleting your attention, um, and just depleting your energy as well. So I think thinking about your attention as a battery, as a full battery, is really powerful. And just being aware of that every time you're kind of distracted, or you want to be, pulled away from being productive and getting, the job done, or focusing on the task at hand, thinking of yourself as a full battery, a full green, and then those, those kind of, I suppose, behaviors that are, draining your energy, of scrolling, of distraction, thinking of them as depleting the battery that is full. So that's just a really simple kind of visual exercise. I'm a very visual learner. Some key strategies for digital boundaries, which I'm sure you know, but I think it's really important to think about. I think your morning, setting yourself up for success in the morning, um, leaving your phone outside, and just not scrolling, not touching your phone until you need to get on it. But it sets you up for the day. The content and what you interact with within your day is, it sets the tone for your day. So you need to be so intentional with kind of your what you actually um are subjected to in the morning, and just have a lovely mindful slow morning routine. I think having focus sprints, this really helps me when I'm thinking about trying to get, project based work done. So time blocking your calendars, putting your phone in another room if that helps you, but even putting in scheduling time for phone use is really important too. And because you don't want to, it's about working with technology, it's about balancing it, and saying that you're never going to touch your phone again is not is not feasible. So focus sprints, and then scheduling micro breaks, similar to that as well with the focus sprints, just putting in those little small breaks within your day, and moving your body, being mindful, and then having tech free zones. This is super helpful as well. So having maybe a room that you just don't bring your phone into, and being very intentional with your usage and picking up your device as well. Super. I know we're at time. I just want to give you three key takeaways for today. Really simply put, be aware of your habits and your patterns. Intentionality is everything. Integrate mindfulness in your day, move your body, breathe, be with yourself, get away from your screens where you can and where it's feasible, and think of your energy like a battery. As I said, intentionality is something I want to hammer home. So think about your full battery of attention, giving productivity and where you need to give your attention, giving it green, but then those activities that take away from it, so the social media scrolling and those quick dopamine releases, they're depleting it. So make sure that you're filling up your battery where you can. um Perfect. We don't have time for Q&A, but I am going to leave you. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave you with that. It's been really great to bring you through this. I hope you learned something useful, and thank you so much for your time.